And you don't have to have a confession to go forward, but what we need to go forward is somebody else he talked to.
You don't need that. You're absolutely right. And I think, Nancy, honestly, you hit it on the head. His quote about, man, if they had found this body, I would be in deep, whatever expletive he used. That is a huge thing they have to latch on. And the other point is getting this boat operator. That's the key.
Back to Peter DeVries. DeVries responsible for masterminding the scheme that caught Vandersloot on tape. Peter, honestly, what do you think will happen now? We Americans don't get that the Dutch authorities have not pursued this further. I mean, they're just executing search warrants now, nearly 3 years later, to get his laptops or his computer. I mean, that doesn't even make sense to us. We want search warrants now. We want justice now. And I don't understand it. Do you really think he will ever see a court of law, Peter?
Yeah, I'm convinced he will finally stand on trial, really, believe me.
Why?
Because the Dutch and the Reuben police and investigators are really very busy with it. And
why did this judge refuse to issue an arrest warrant?
Well, that's a technical law thing in the Dutch law. It's not easy, but that's the way it is.
Man, you're
but
telling me it's not
he will
easy.
stand trial.
You believe that?
Me. Yeah, I believe that.
You believe it. To Bernie in New York, what?
Maybe not next month, but he will.
To Bernie in New York. Hi, Bernie.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm good, dear. What's your question?
Nancy, do the police know who this Dory character is? I'm assuming he's the one that drove the boat and dumped Nancy's body in the water.
Bernie, they do. I'll throw that one to you, Art Harris. Explain Dory.
Well, Dory was the so-called friend he picked to blame, helping him carry the body to the boat. The Dory he named, however, has an alibi. He was in Holland at the time. There is another Dory, I understand, who is being ruled in or out, but most people don't think it's Dory.
What about that, Peter? Is there another Dory?
Yeah, there is. Sure there is, because the Dowry who is in the news now is not mentioned by Joran. It's the wrong Dowry.
So there is another Dowry?
There's another Dowry, yeah.
Okay. I've just got to ask you why you think this will land in court, because I'm afraid it's over. If they haven't arrested him now, will they ever?
They are working on it, and there are a lot of suspect circumstances.
I've got to ask you something else very quickly before we go to break. A lot of people have attacked you, saying you crossed journalistic bounds by doing this. I say they're just jealous they didn't think of it first.
I'm saying, so what? I did what was needed. That's what I did.
Yes, you certainly did.
Yeah.
With us tonight, taking your calls, Mr. Peter DeVries and Natalie's father, Dave Holloway. But I want to share with you very quickly a way, on a different note, to fight a different enemy, breast cancer. Women's Personal Health Resource, founded 8 years ago by a former oncology nurse. The company provides products to help breast cancer patients. Wigs, skincare, products, scarves, turbans, sleepwear, swimsuits, all for mastectomy, lumpectomy, even reconstructive surgery patients. If this battle touches your life, go to womenspersonalhealth.com or to cnn.com/Nancy Grace. Let's join together and beat breast cancer and the devastation it causes. Tonight, APB, All Points Bulletin for special moms and dads. If you know one who's an inspiration to others, get that camcorder. Go to cnn.com/Nancy Grace, click on iReport, and enter that parent in the Extraordinary Parent Contest.
Warren Vandersloot says he was with Natalie Holloway when she died, that he helped dispose of her body, and that she might not even have been dead while he was doing so. It's all on video from a hidden camera, so how in the world is he still free? Well, Vandersloot spent the day being questioned by Dutch investigators and pledged to answer any question, and you can bet many of those focused on the new tapes of him discussing his night with Holloway.
I want to go to Dr. Stephen Cole, Chief Medical Examiner, Grand Rapids. Dr. Cole, thank you for being with us. I know that at this juncture there would be no soft tissue left, but is there any way to tell whether Natalie was alive, still alive, when she was thrown into the water?
Well, not with certainty. because all we would probably have left to work with would be a skeleton or parts of a skeleton, the best things that we could obtain or that we could determine would be perhaps a cause of death. For example, if he caused massive head injury, there might be skull fractures. If he stabbed her, there may be knife marks on the ribs or other parts of her body that would give an indication as to the cause of death. And finally, the utility of the skeleton would be most likely to aid in definitive identification. If there are teeth, obviously that could be compared with, those could be compared with dental records, and otherwise portions of the bone could be used for mitochondrial DNA studies to try to match.
Would you still be able to extract DNA from the bones?
Well, mitochondrial DNA, not nuclear DNA.
Correct.
But yes, but so I think there would still be probably that opportunity.
With us, Dr. Stephen Cole, Chief Medical Examiner there in Kent County, Michigan. To Dr. Leslie Austin, psychotherapist. Dr. Austin, I don't understand why at this point he has to speak of her in such horrible terms, calling her a bitch, calling her a whore. It's just, I mean, 3 years have passed since this incident, and still the anger inside of him, but yet he appears so emotionless.
He shows all the hallmarks, Nancy, of the classic sociopath who has absolutely no conscience whatsoever. So in his evil, twisted world, she is a problem for him because she messed up his life that he was enjoying, and she's trouble for him. And why shouldn't he be paid for all the trouble he's gone through? There are very few people I characterize as evil, even some sociopaths. He's one of them. He has an absolute lack of morality and conscience, and it's very shocking.
Back to the calls on the Natalee Holloway case. With me, Natalee's father, Dave Holloway. Out to the lines, Jackie in Wisconsin. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Nancy. My question is Joe Tacopina still Joran Vandersloot's lawyer? And if so, has he released any kind of statement about this?
Jackie, I can answer that one for you. Yes, he is the state's lawyer, the United States lawyer, and he says Vandersloot made it all up, that it was just a big lie. To T.J. Ward, what do you think investigators will get out of Vandersloot tonight? He is there being questioned.
Well, I hope they're asking him the questions and trying to confirm some of the information. The mere fact, I think that he needs to talk about, and the Dutch authorities need to talk about, arresting him for concealing a death. I mean, for starters. I mean, he's obviously, the statements that he's made on tape warrants the application for concealing a death. He said he dumped the body and brought a boat in, and then they can get somebody for conspiracy of bringing a boat in. His intention is to dispose of the body is very, very clear in his whole conversation about the interview.
I agree. T.J. Ward joining us, private investigator who worked with the Holloway family. To Dave Holloway, Natalee's father, what do you make of it when Peter DeVries says Joran Vandersloot will face trial?
Peter must know something that I don't know. There must be a lot more information that he's withheld for obvious reasons, and I think he and I both have very good confidence that this case is going to move forward. You know, Nancy, I'd mentioned that we're working out in the ocean. If any of the viewers are interested in following along, they can go to Tim Miller, Texas EquiSearch's website and click on a link, and you'll see what a great job these guys are doing out in the ocean.
Dave, how do you stay so composed when you discuss Natalee's death and disappearance?
You just have to get yourself primed up for it, Nancy. There's been a lot of tough times away from the camera that is very tough. We've got some serious things ahead of us. You know, I've got two young daughters that still believe in Santa Claus, and they put up the Natalee's little stocking, and they still had hope, and you know, we've got that ahead of us.
You know, I just realized for the first time that I have been now talking about not Natalee's disappearance, but Natalee's death and disappearance, because this tape seemed to make it, I don't know why, it made it so much more real. Did it do that to you as well?
You know, I had a pretty good idea what had happened. That's the reason we're out in the ocean, and Peter confirmed that for us, and you know, and I took it, and you know, it's been tough, you know, but I wasn't prepared for the attitude of this kid towards Natalee. That's been the toughest part
for me. I just can't believe a human being could be that cruel and inhumane towards another person.
You know, it's funny that it struck you that way, funny, odd. It did the same thing to me, because I already believe he is responsible for her death, but to hear him speak of her and call her a bitch and a whore the way he did, I don't know why. That just added insult to injury.